RIP to the Pope. I'm interested to see who they select. But moving on to the next topic of the night, it is on Pete Hegseth. Is he a DEI hire? Let's watch this clip. Yeah, I said it. He's a DEI hire. My personal belief. Is he going to get fired? Let's watch this clip and look at the timeline of what's going on with him.
Tonight with breaking news just coming in. Sources say Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is said to have shared sensitive details about the strike in Yemen targeting Houthis in a second Signal group chat on March 15th that included his wife and brother, among others. This comes just weeks after Hegseth and officials mistakenly added an editor from The Atlantic to a group chat. Let's bring in ABC's Alex Perche. Alex, what's the latest that you're learning tonight?
Lindsay, tonight, two sources confirmed to ABC News that report by the New York Times that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared military operation details to a group chat of family and friends titled Defense Team Huddle. In this private Signal chat that included his wife, brother, and personal lawyer, the defense secretary shared specifics, including flight schedules of a strike in Yemen targeting Houthis back in March. The secretary's brother, Phil, and his lawyer, Tim Parlator, both have jobs at the Pentagon. Hegseth's wife is not a Defense Department employee, and none of them have any apparent reason to be briefed on military operations. This information reportedly shared is essentially the same attack plans he posted in a separate Signal chat that included the editor of The Atlantic. But unlike that chat, this one was created by Secretary Hegseth, and he reportedly used his private phone rather than his government one to access that chat. Now, Lindsay, tonight, ABC News has reached out to the National Security Council, also the White House. We have not heard back yet for comment, but this is certainly to raise questions about security protocol. Lindsay?
That is definitely the case, Alex.
And President Trump is changing the country.
What do you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. And on hoaxes, time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. Hoaxsters. This group, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with access to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to tell y'all why I call him the DEI hire. He is the drunken enabler of Israel. Allegedly, what I'm hearing is that all the people that got fired out were opposed to them bombing Iran. They're going to bomb Iran, from what I'm hearing. So what side is he on? Because I'm hearing he's pro-Iran, pro-bombing Iran, anti-bombing Iran. Is this a coincidence? Is this all connected? I don't know. Gray, I'll let you go first since we beat up on you usually.
You're the person that told me about the whole Iran thing, but I'll just leave it as simply as that, that if with the, what's his name, Lloyd Austin, when he was sick, they wanted him fired. So, I mean, like, he was just sick. So with someone else, why isn't he being fired when it's like he's leaking information?
Is he really leaking this, or is this a cover up? Is there something more sinister going on? Enzo, what's your thoughts? Should we believe it, or is it an attack on the Trump administration?
I've been waiting to talk about this. I see it on both sides of the fence. I mean, like I've said in the beginning, when the first one came out, he needs to step down. I'm biased. No one's going to be on par with Mad Dog in my eyes, especially him. But then again, this supposedly happened on the 15th. It's now the 22nd of April. Why are we now hearing about it? There's so many questions when it comes to this. How did these people get into these group chats? Why did he make it? What's really going on behind the scenes? When were these attack plans actually shown to these people? Was it before, during, or after the attack? And how classified was it? And do the his brother and the lawyer have security clearance to see this stuff because they work for the Pentagon, so they have some type of security clearance. So maybe it could be okay for them to see these attack plans. Not his wife, obviously. I'm not justifying it whatsoever. It's just so many questions revolving around just this one topic, and I want answers for it. I really do. As an American citizen, I want answers. That's all I got to say.
Mia, that those are great points. We need to be holding our administration accountable. I don't care if you wear a Trump hat or not. We should have these questions. Mia, what's your thoughts? Is he going to be held accountable? What do you think?
Honestly, I just think we need to fire him. I think he needs to go at this point in time. Like, it's one thing to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have military service. It's not like he doesn't love this country. Nobody's ever said any of those things. However, we gave him a chance, and he's proven on more than one occasion to have bad judgment. Just plain and simple bad judgment, and we can't have somebody as the Secretary of Defense for this country with blatant bad judgment. It's clearly the same mistake is being made over and over and over again. He knows he can't bring his wife. He obviously knows he should be talking on a very specific phone on a very specific program. These things they're briefed on from day one. So it's not like he wasn't briefed on all of these things when he accepted this position before they even confirmed him. And he barely got confirmed. Like, skin of the teeth barely got confirmed. So he was already on razor thin ice, and he just is not doing anything to really gain the support of the American people. And I think at this point in time, Trump needs to tell him he's fired, because he's pretty freaking useless right now. The only thing he's doing is creating controversy and making the rest of us look bad. So I think he needs to be out.
Reverend, you usually go against the grain. You pro Pete. He need to go. What's your thoughts?
I think I like Pete, and I think there's a double standard. And I just want to remind everybody on here the previous administration. The previous administration was, in my opinion, the most incompetent administration I've ever seen. The guy that was in his position before, nobody said anything when the Afghanistan debacle happened, and we
True.
left terrorists billions of dollars in equipment. Now we're talking about a leak here, a leak. And we're talking about they equip terrorists with fighter jets, they equip terrorists with bombs, and 13 of our soldiers were killed. And nobody was calling for all, I mean, the Republicans were, but the Democrats, they were like, no, he's still a great man. He's still a great person. And they defended him. And so I think yes, we need to figure out what happened. I believe it was a leak. I believe there are people that are trying to sabotage the Trump administration from within,
Mhm.
and I believe that up and down. I believe that from the Pentagon to DHS to I believe there are still apples in there that are a part of the resistance that want to see this administration fail. But I also believe the media, we know the media is more left leaning. I mean, you have Fox, you have Newsmax, you have maybe Newsmax, and maybe a few
CNN.
other, but most of the news media is left leaning, right? And they didn't hold the Democrats to the same when they were in office. For instance, even like Mayorkas, how he allowed all these. His one job was to secure the border. That was his one job, and we literally have 20 million illegal immigrants in our country, 15 to 20 million, and so he should have lost his job. If people getting kicked out of their job for not doing their job, well, let's talk. Well, he needs to go. Austin needed to go for the debacle, and then Biden needed to go because Biden he was a part of it. So I just think the double standard. I don't listen to it much because until the media begins to cover the Trump administration like they did the Biden administration, I don't want to hear it. And I would tell
Oof.
CNN the same thing. Until you cover Joe Biden and his administration, everything was good coverage with Biden. You know, he was
Mhm.
he was eating ice cream. It was like, what flavor is your ice cream? You know, that's all they had to say about Biden. Biden could do no wrong. Biden and Kamala, greatest administration in the world. But Trump sneezes wrong. He sneezes. He blows his nose wrong. A tissue falls on the ground. And Biden's tripping up the stairs. He's going up. He got that cartoons of him falling down the stairs. He's perfect condition. He's the most well-competent president ever. And then he's at he's at the debate, can barely get out words. And they're saying he's great. Can you see that great speech? So the long story to say, I'm done, y'all. But long story to say, until there is equal coverage, until there are equal outrage when Democrats are in power, you can dismiss me with all the hypocrisy, because that's what it is. It's hypocrisy, and it's hypocrisy.
Oh man, we got the left is left, except for Kamal. Ooh, skeptic, how you follow up with that? What's your thoughts? I'm sure you got lots to say, girl.
He's completely incompetent. When I'm talking about Pete Hegseth, he said this the first time that it happened. He said that this was all a ruse and that it wasn't true. And now he's saying the same thing again. So I wouldn't pass it being true. The first time they said that there were not any actual, what did they call it? Classified information. And then when the text actually came out, whenever they had a hearing, they were like, okay, well, if there was no classified information, then share the text. And Tulsi Gabbard wouldn't even admit that she was the one that was on the Signal chat. So this administration has shown that they are incompetent. I wouldn't put it past him that he did it again with his wife, his brother, and his lawyer. And the fact that he's putting our veterans that are out there putting their life at risk and acting like this is nothing is actually really sad. I have family that are on the lines that have been deployed to different countries, and I respect our veterans. I think that we should give them better treatment when it comes to defending our country, and this is unacceptable. He should definitely step down. This is completely unacceptable.
Kamal, I never know what you're gonna say. What's your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, my thoughts is I don't know what's worse, Pete's text getting leaked or Shannon Sharp's. God damn. Like, everybody text getting leaked. Ain't that something? And bro out here, I don't know what's worse, him or some of these rappers out here that be showing their advance money out here. Can't nobody keep a secret. Why is he texting these things? They don't make no sense. He can't keep nothing to himself. I know it's his wife, but damn, don't y'all talk over dinner or something? Why is he texting? I don't understand. Like, I mean, first of all, I don't trust nobody that got the same Gavin Newsom conch. You know, he got that hairstyle, that conch style. I don't trust nobody that got that conch type of hairstyle. Second, I mean, this pure stupidity. I'm sorry. You texting government secrets over the phone. Bro, I don't know.
Jane,
I'm at a loss for
yeah.
words. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm. Now you brought up some good points. There was a lot of secrets being exposed this week. Well, this month, I should say. James, what's your thoughts? Should he be given another chance or should he go?
My thoughts are going to be a little bit more different than everybody else's. When it comes to somebody like Pete Hegseth, that was one of the most bumbling, idiotic moves that he could make. And in that same vein, to mirror what the Reverend said, as far as the media, they gave a lot of cover for Lloyd Austin, even though Lloyd Austin was also on the board of Raytheon before becoming Secretary of Defense. And so I'm of the opinion that both parties, both Democrat and Republican parties, are really complicit in a lot of the bumbling. Is it really bumbling or is it intentional? I don't know, but in really putting us all at risk. Because ultimately it's about, are the oligarchs happy? Are the billionaires happy? Well, then there's no harm, no foul. But the thing is, like, when it comes to anything that puts us at risk, the regular people, the regular people, yeah, it doesn't matter. And so of course, Pete Hegseth is an out and out Zionist. And so even if you were to replace Pete Hegseth with somebody else, Trump's just going to pick somebody who, prays at the altar of Netanyahu. So, I mean, really, is it going to be anything different? Somebody like a Donald Trump is just an orange Joe Biden. And so when it comes to how they behave, and like all presidents say, well, the buck stops with me. And if Pete Hegseth is leaking or he's giving government secrets over his phone, over a non-government issued phone, over a non-secured server, and has a member of the media in the list, as well as his brother and his wife, that means that man is compromised. From a national security standpoint, you cannot have Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense anymore, because therefore that means he is subject to being influenced by any adversarial government that wants to get to him. And so he is showing cracks in the hull, so to speak, of the American empire. And so if somebody like Pete Hegseth wants to continue down this road and then just blame the liberal media, all right, fine. But at the same time, you still did it. you still made the bumbling mistake, and so honestly, from a procedural standpoint, Pete Hegseth would need to go. But even still, I mean, I really have no faith in either party. So somebody like Pete Hegseth, you're gonna get another one. And if he may not be bumbling on this, but he may be bumbling on something else, or maybe intentionally harmful in some other area.
For sure. Nora.